All right, Tommy Bowden. Coach, how you feeling today, buddy? What's happening?
Doing good. Well, living in Florida, it's always a good day.
I hear you, man. Good weather. I'm sure you're doing a little bit of golf, and of course, you're getting ready for another weekend on the ACC Network. And I mean, there's a few things we want to throw at you. Obviously, Louisville looks pretty impressive. Their quarterback's been nuts. But what is the story with Clemson's offense? This is not what we saw coming here, Coach. What's up?
You know, the Auburn game, I think you kind of justify. You give a good defensive coordinator and good athletes 6 months to prepare. Kevin Steele, knew the Clemson offense.
Yeah.
He had 6 months to prepare his defensive coordinator. And then the other thing, Chad Morris, who put it in, who originated it, is best friends with Gus Malzahn. You know they talk. So it didn't bother me that much that Auburn put some good athletes, had 6 months to prepare for it, their lack of productivity. The second game was concerned. I think there's no doubt that Deshaun Watson has self-imposed too much pressure on himself trying to exceed last year's standards, the first 4,000, 1,000 quarterback in the history of college football. And then the emergence, I think, of Lamar Jackson and DeAndre Franz-Watt, Florida State, and Lamar Jackson, Clemson. And Deshaun Watson sat back and said, hey, wait a minute, this Heisman was mine.
Yeah.
I'm the best in my conference. And then I think that has gotten to him a little bit, and then he has not performed up to his expectations.
Yeah, you bring up Lamar Jackson here from Louisville, who has been unbelievable. 13 touchdowns in 2 weekends. Where did he come from? I mean, who is he? I don't think he was on anybody's radar to be this good and in the Heisman conversation, as you mentioned.
Bobby Petrino, I think the three best head coach, quarterback coaches are David Shaw at Stanford, Jimbo Fisher, and Bobby Petrino. Does a great job of quarterbacks. And Bobby Petrino's inventory of quarterback offensive plays has doubled because he's finally got a quarterback that's got tremendous running skills, and he can throw. He's a very accurate passer. I hate to compare him to Michael Vick running skills, but I tell you, he's very similar. He's 6'3", 205, a different body type.
Yes.
And just presents all kind of problems for you. He made the statement this summer after his freshman year. He says, I don't want to make freshman mistakes as a sophomore. But I think he was very conscientious and really studied this summer, had a great coach in Bobby Petrino as far as how to bring him along with experience. But, man, he's got a supporting cast of these wideouts, big physical guys, running backs, offensive line. So he's in a great position with a great coach. And I look for him this week. He could really make himself a factor in the Heisman, how he does against Florida State.
Oh, there's no question. Told to Tommy Bowden, the ACC Network Analyst. I watched, I wouldn't say a good chunk, but enough of that Syracuse game. And I saw the highlights from his first win where he only played a quarter and a half. And it looks like he's playing a video game. He is a unique talent. There's no doubt. He's a sick athlete. I'm going to throw something at you that you probably didn't think you'd get this early in the interview. And I'm going to make a bold statement. And I'd be surprised if you disagree with this. You ready?
Yes, sir.
I think that Wake Forest is going to a bowl this year. I think that their defense is so underrated nationally. Not a prominent bowl. I want to be clear about that. But Wake Forest is definitely moving in the right direction.
Watch my show this week. I had to pick out – last week. No, last week the show was on. I said pick 4 teams that won't go to a bowl game. But the 12, the 10 that would, I picked Wake Forest. And I picked them for a couple reasons. It's Dave Clawson's third year. He's had a tremendous amount of injuries. He's got 2 quarterbacks, John Walford, who's experienced, Kendall Hinton, who can run and throw, all 5 offensive line starters coming back, and then a veteran defense. The veteran defense shut out that, offense of Tulane, or 7-3.
Yeah, 7-3, yep.
Fritz, who came from Georgia Southern, a great run. That showed me something. And then when they beat Duke so decisively last week. So, no, I agree with you. I picked them on the show last week to go to a bowl game, and right now both of us look like prophets.
There we go. Okay, Coach.
Tommy, let me take you out of the ACC for a second here because of a story that kind of started at Louisville. And I'm talking about Charlie Strong, who's now down in Texas. Obviously, they had that huge win that everybody saw in week 1 against Notre Dame, that barn burner that went into overtime. They destroyed UTEP in week 2. They play at Cal. Is this for real what Charlie Strong has brought to Texas? Obviously, they have a really interesting quarterback situation, a dual head that actually works. It usually doesn't work in college football, but it works for them. Can they really live up to the number 11 ranking that they currently sit at?
Well, I tell you, he's done probably the hottest of the hot seats going into the preseason, and he cooled it down tremendously by his performance against Notre Dame. One of the great jobs he did. Texas A&M, all the problems they have with quarterbacks. They lost 3 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden, the potential quarterback controversy at Texas, Swoops, the veteran, well-liked by the team, a great leader. He brings in a true freshman that's a great thrower. And how Charlie Strong utilized those 2 guys, very ingenious on his part. How he kept them involved, how he kept Swoops in the program, the way he used him. And then I think the hire of his offensive coordinator and that the talent of the freshman quarterback Swoops. It's his 3rd year or so. He's developed some talent. So yes, I think they are very much deserving of where they are ranked, and could do big things if they stay hungry, stay focused. And this could be Charlie Strong's year.
Yeah, we're rooting for him. We've had him on the show, and obviously he's a good man. He's got a chance to really do something this year. Tommy Bowden with us here at Tiki and Tierney, CBS Sports Radio. Tommy, former head coach of Clemson. He's on the ACC Network as an analyst, and he does a really nice job. I wanted to ask you about a team that doesn't get much attention, and quite frankly, they don't deserve it. But a quick thought on Boston College. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for them, Tommy. My sister went to BC back in the day with Glenn Foley and Chamora and Mamula and that team, and they put out a lot of good pros. I look at Boston College and like the totality of the conference and where they are regionally and the lack of access to elite athletes, speedsters. I just feel like Boston College in football, I don't think they ever have a chance to be good. I mean, really good.
Well, unfortunately, they're up around the Patriots where nobody really cares. They really don't. It's an afterthought of where they are because of the success of some of the local professional teams. And then I think they could do some really good things on offense. Steve Adazio, he's an old offensive line guy. He loves run, action, pass. Well, that disqualifies a lot of great quarterbacks and wide receivers when that's your base philosophy. It really hardens up your defense. They play great defense. I think, but if they could just, go hire like Dabo Swinney did, hire a Chad Morris, or what Oklahoma did when they hired the coordinator at East Carolina and sling the ball around. If he could ever break that hold he's got mentally to let his offense go, I think there's enough they've had success at quarterback, Boston College. They've had some great ones up there.
No, I know. Hasselbeck, Matt Ryan, Flutie. No, I got you. Yeah.
Just the style of offense.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they were the worst offense in the nation last year, and he really didn't make any hires. I don't think he made anything significantly over the offseason to increase their chances offensively. Again, They lost their defensive coordinator, but playing great defense. So I think they could if they somehow his temperament would change a little bit offensively.
It's a big variable. Tommy Bowden with us here on Tiki and Tierney, ACC Network, former Clemson head coach.
Now, obviously, Tommy, the ACC game of the week will be Florida State going to Louisville. We talked a little bit about Lamar Jackson, but Florida State's ranked number 2 in the country right now, and it's deserving. Dalvin Cook and a quarterback who has just been unbelievable so far. How do you see this game playing itself out?
2 things I'm going to look at. One is going to be how are they going to defend Lamar Jackson in his running ability? Are they going to take out a bigger linebacker, somebody can tackle him in space? Whoever you put in there is, I think, only going to tackle him 50% of the time. But you better put somebody in there that can tackle him 50% of the time in space. He makes big plays. The old days of play zone and everybody rally. When the quarterback breaks the line of scrimmage, everybody rally and hem him up. You can't do that with a guy like Lamar Jackson. So, first of all, I'm interested to see what Florida State defensively, Charles Keller, defensive coordinator, does schematically to account for the running skills of Lamar Jackson. And then Bobby Petrino spent a lot of time in the pros. Those guys are usually master on finding mismatches on the field. How are they going to go after Derwin James, the great safety at Florida State? Is going to miss.
Nope. Did we lose Coach? Oh, there we go. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you. Pick it up, Coach.
Yeah. The other thing was, how is Bobby Petrino going to attack the substitute for Derwin James, the great safety at Florida State? So I'm anxious to see, how does he go after that guy, Derwin James' replacement? He's got a pro experience, looking for mismatches, and then how is Florida State going to account for the running skills of Lamar Jackson?
Well, Tommy, that's a very comprehensive look at the schematics of the game, but there's one thing you didn't tell me that I really need to know. Who should I bet on here, Coach? I mean, come on. Where's my money going?
I'm going to have a hard time going against Florida State because their depth across the board and being a fourth quarter game. I think it'll be a close game.
Okay.
The biggest game in the history of Louisville. game day's never been there.
Yeah.
It's a basketball state. Tremendous enthusiasm, electricity. Louisville's going to start fast. They'll be on fire. Florida State might catch them reeling, but I just think overall, and DeAndre Francois, the redshirt freshman quarterback at Florida State, is really, really talented.